Welcome back to the Mark Moses Show, only right here on Sports Radio 95.9 The Fan. And joining us right now on the Club 52 hotline, it is an honor and a privilege. I mean, we have interviewed, presidential candidates, pro wrestlers, NBA coaches, but now a professional voice actor for video games and cartoons. And he's also a musician as well with a new album coming out. His name is Troy Baker. You can hear him in BioShock Infinite, Call of Duty, Last of Us. Oh, I am excited for this. Troy, my man, how you doing today?
What's up, buddy? I love that that's the list that you can put me in, that I can stand shoulder to shoulder with. It's like, no, we've done these people, but now it gets real. We have this guy. So that's cool, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. People ask me all the time, hey, how did you get into sports talk radio, or how did you get into TV news? And I have to tell them the whole thing of how I got from here, here, and here. So I got to ask you the same question. How did you get into voice acting for video games? Because I think you're living the dream of most guys out there.
Well, it's so funny, man, because I think you probably have stories like this, too. You stumble into it, you know? It's almost like you don't choose your life chooses you. And I was in a band, we were doing our album at this studio, and down the hall, they did these, radio commercials, these car adverts and stuff. And I popped my head in the door and was like, I would love to be in radio. And they're like, great, good for you, get out. And 2 weeks later, it just happened to be right place, right time. They needed a guy. I happened to be, present. And I was just willing to make a fool out of myself. And I think that's the number one thing you have to do in anything is just be willing to be an idiot, and make a lot of mistakes. And here I am, 10 years later, it's just kind of stumbling after myself with just, walking through doors that open, and you run into doors that slam shut, and you realize that's not a path to go down. And then, we're here with like games like you mentioned, like BioShock Infinite, The Last of Us, which was so critically acclaimed. I'm starring opposite Kevin Spacey in a Call of Duty. It was stupid. It's been a crazy year.
Did you do any radio DJ, or were you more just doing radio commercials? What were you doing exactly?
Mark, I'll be honest with you. The only DJing that I did was announcing drink specials at a gentleman's establishment. That was my career in quote unquote DJing. But I've never made it onto the radio. And I've done the tour circuit where you sit down for the morning shows like we're doing now and stuff, but actually in the studio. And I was always jealous of it. I was like, I think that's one of the coolest jobs you can have, is just to be that guy on the radio that has his voice. And we've seen the industry kind of move away from that. And it's kind of the same thing in video games. It used to be this grizzled, Marcus Phoenix type hero character, and now we've moved into kind of like Joel was in The Last of Us or Booker. It's not that guy anymore. The role of the hero has changed in video games.
You're so funny, because I imagine you're at the Gentleman's Club and you're like, in 10 years, I'm going to make it. And
you guys don't even know who I think I'm going to be. Yeah.
I'm going to be, you're like,
that was me.
You're like, I'm going to be on a Jewish guy's show in Melbourne, Florida in 10 years. I'm going to show you.
Can you imagine if I've been honing my chops? Welcome to the main stage. Cinnamon. The Joker bringing some dancer to the stage would have probably been the freakiest thing. Well, maybe not the freakiest thing, but one of the freakiest things to happen in a place like that. I
forgot about the Joker. You were in Arkham Origins, and then are you going to be in the new one as well?
Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
If it ever finally comes out, they were kind enough to ask me to come back. I'm a huge... Arkham Asylum was one of my favorites. I think it's seminal work for graphic novels. It's one of my favorite graphic novels in the Batman franchise. And that's how I really kind of got my big start. I've been doing video games before, but I played Two-Face in Arkham City. And, Arkham Origins was done by a different developer, and they gave me the opportunity to play Joker in that, which was a banner day for me. I'm not going to cut it any different way. It was an incredible opportunity for me. And now we're coming into Arkham Knight. I get to come back and be Two-Face. So that's kind of like everything's coming full circle. It's pretty cool.
How long does it take to put that together where they're like, all right, we want you to be the Joker, the main villain in a game? I mean, look, I do a 3-hour sports talk show and people think I show up 5 minutes before the show. No, it's an 8-hour day. What about doing a full video game? I mean, how long are you in there recording and doing all those voices?
It depends, man. I mean, we've been working on Arkham Knight for forever. We did 2.5 years on The Last of Us, and that was just in production, not the development process. I mean, they were in development for almost 5 years on The Last of Us because they started when they were doing Uncharted 2. But we would shoot because we shoot it like a TV show or a film. You know, it's It's just your set and your wardrobe looks a little bit differently than it does, traditionally. But we're on a big sound stage with all of these high-res cameras that are capturing your movements in 360 space, and the full facial, the body, the voice is all being done at the same time. And we did that for 2.5 years. We would come in once a month for 3 days. We'd rehearse on one day and then shoot Thursday and Friday or something like that. And it takes time. Exactly like you're saying, there's so much preparation. And when you're going into creating a 10, 12, 15, 20-hour experience, there's a lot of content to get through. So on average for a video game, you've got about an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of cinematics, like the movie portions of it that go into making that. So that takes a long time to film.
We're here with Troy Baker, professional voice actor, video games, musician as well, cartoons. He does it all here on the Club 52 hotline. Did you really change your voice for Joel? Did you have to do much work? I mean, you got to give us a sample how it sounds different than your original voice.
Well, it was funny because you hear me, and I don't even. If you heard this voice coming out of Joel, it would be jarring for sure. Uh-huh. But I'm from Texas originally, and when we auditioned just like everybody else, and when I saw a picture of what this guy looked like, and there's a brief blurb about who he was, and I don't even think there was anything about him being from Austin, Texas in the original, which in the game that's his backstory is that's where he's from. But I just saw the guy, and there was this line in the description that said he has few moral lines left to cross. And there was just something that when I saw that guy, when I thought about what kind of man that is a true statement about, it just kind of started sounding like this, and it was just this. I don't know. That's just like that's what I heard, and at that point I'd started doing a lot of different video games, and I definitely wanted to kind of distinguish that role among the other ones. Because for the most part, I'd kind of been myself, maybe a few different offshoots every once in a while. But there was just this character, and we lived inside of those characters for so long. People say, what's your favorite character? And it's impossible to say of what I've done, what my favorite is. It's Sophie's Choice, But that is definitely the character that I miss the most.
That's cool stuff. I know you're at bars as well where people are like, you don't do that. And then you probably start doing the voices, right? To mess with them. You got to tell me. Come on.
Oh, the best thing to do is to go through any drive-through, and I'll take 3 cheesy gorditas, supreme. And then you pull up, you go, so that was what, 742? Is that how much it was? They're like, there was a car in front of you that had a guy that.
That is awesome. We're here with Troy Baker, voice actor. Now, you also have a rock album coming out. Is this true? You got to give us insight.
Man, I started off as a musician, and, again, your life chooses you, and this is something that has sat on the back burner for so long, and some of these songs have sat gestating for almost 10 years, and I finally, the right doors opened up, and I got into business with the right people. I found an amazing producer and a great engineer, and I'm so stupid. What we did was I had this romantic gesture or idea because most of the albums that really resonated with me weren't done in a traditional studio. They were done somewhere different where the band felt they needed to sequester themselves. Like OK Computer was done up in Jane Seymour's castle. Sting's first record was done in a chateau outside of Paris. So we found this cabin. It was huge house, but it was this cabin up in Big Bear, California, in the mountains. And we lugged about $500,000 worth of gear up there, and all the guys came up there, and we cut this record. And it's, there's a lot of albums that come out now that are a collection of singles. They're just there's no really congruent thought throughout the entire thing. And the whole conceit of this record was to make a record that was in the spirit of the 33. There's an A side and there's a B side, and it moves. And it's 46 minutes of a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that we put into this thing. And it's a big record. Like it sounds like something that was done in the 70s. There's a lot of hi-fi to it. So it's called Sitting in the Fire. My best friend, when I was going through a really tough time in my life, said there's a fire that is burning in your life right now. If you'll just sit in it, it will make you stronger. And so that kind of became the whole impetus for the record. So yeah, it's out on iTunes, of course, and all anywhere that digital albums are sold. And we also have a physical version that's on CD Baby. Yeah. I feel good about it.
No,
Sounds
good.
Awesome.
We'll check it out, and I'll link it on our Twitter account and Facebook as well. We're here at Troy Baker. All right, I'm running out of time, so you got to do this for me. This is my Hanukkah gift to myself, okay? So you got to help me out.
Okay.
I'm excited to get you on. You got to do me a shout-out, and I want you to know the intro to my show, this music, is from BioShock Infinite, and you are Booker DeWitt. can you please, in your Booker DeWitt voice, can you say, hey, you're listening to the Mark Moses Show?
Of course. Let's do this together. we will do this as partners together. This is Booker DeWitt. When I'm not chasing some girl who can control reality, I'm listening to the Mark Moses Show. Booker, catch!
All right, one more. This is for my cousin and my brother, okay? And I appreciate you doing this for us, okay?
Sure.
My brother's Andrew and my cousin is Harrison, all right? And they're two big video game nerds as well. Can you give them a shout out in your Joker voice that you're going to come and kill them? I think that would be awesome if you could do it. Okay, so it's Andrew is my brother. My cousin is Harrison, okay? The floor is yours, Mr. Joker.
Oh, Andrew and Harrison both. What a lovely pair you make. All the better for me to kill.
Troy Baker, voice actor, professional. He does it for real, my friends, and musician. And how can they check it out? Is it on iTunes? How can they check out the album?
Yeah, you can check it out on iTunes. It's on Google Play. It's on Pandora. It's on Spotify, everywhere. The album is called Sitting in the Fire.
Great stuff. Troy, I hope we can get you on again and maybe next time talk about you as a tortured soul who stars in a Madden video game. I think that'd be awesome.
I would love that.
Yeah.